everyone, I'm Pratibha, Assistant Professor of Sociology from Government First Grade College, Siddharth, Mysore. Population Studies in India is one of the papers which final year BA students belonging to University of Mysore will be studying. Today we'll discuss about census as a source of population data, meaning and characteristics. The learning objectives are to understand the meaning of census and to know the characteristics of census. Session outcomes are students will be able to understand the meaning of census and the methods adopted in the census. It develops awareness among the students regarding census. They'll also be able to know the characteristics of census. Contents of the slides are introduction, meaning of census, census in India, census techniques or methods, characteristics of census, conclusion, references made, and 5 multiple choice questions. Introduction. Census is collection of information about the birth rate, death rate, occupational, social and economic conditions of people of the country at a given point of time. It provides information about the economy of the nation, rural-urban migration, living standard of the people, family size, and educational achievements, and so on. You all know that it's rural people who migrate more in number towards urban areas. Urban people also migrate towards rural areas, but less in number. Now let's see the meaning of census. The term census is derived from the Latin word censere, which means value or tax. Here are the two definitions. One is given by V.M. Dandiker and the other one is given by Thomas and Lewis. According to Thomas and Lewis, counting of a population in a specific time refers to census. And you can go through V.M. Dandiker's definition. Now let's see how the census was conducted during ancient period. In the ancient period, population census was conducted to prepare lists for taxation purposes. When they wanted to know for whom all tax can be imposed, how many people are eligible to pay tax and all. So census will be conducted. And the heads of the families, farmers, merchants, landlords, and men suitable for military service, only these people were counted and not all the people. The modern concept of census took shape in the 17th and 18th century. Now let's see about census in India. In the year 1872, first census was conducted in India, but it was only partial census and covered only a limited field. Next census was held in the year 1881 and this covered a wider area, and from then on, once in 10 years, census is conducted in India. It was in 1951 the first census was conducted after India gained independence. The census which was conducted in the year 2011 is the 15th census of India since 1872, and it was conducted in 2 phases. First one is house listing and second one is population enumeration. Census techniques or methods. There are 2 census techniques or methods. They are de facto method and de jure method. Now let's see what is de facto method. Under this method, a date is fixed for census for the whole country, and usually such an operation is conducted at night. A moonlit night was selected, and people are appealed not to move out of their home and to avoid traveling. All those enumerators who were interested in the task of collecting data from the people for census, they would be given training and were prepared for the work. On the selected night of census, all those people who were found anywhere were counted. When the people actually present are counted at same moment in a census, technically that is called de facto population. Since the census is completed on a particular date, it is also called date system or one night enumeration system. And de facto method was adopted in India and in England till 1930. Now let's see what is de jure method. Under this system, every person in an area is personally counted and information is obtained from them. Temporary residents are not included in it as they are enumerated at their permanent place of residence. And this would avoid double counting. Usually, census work is completed within a period of 2 to 3 weeks, and this period is called a period of enumeration. Now let's see the characteristics of census. Through census, nation gets following information about people's age, sex and occupation, migration of the people living in a country at a given point of time, their social and economic conditions, etc. So how many people migrated to our country, how many people have moved out of the country, we can know through census. You must have heard of internal migration, international migration, in-migration, out-migration, right? So through census, we can know about the migration of the people. Census is carried out once in a decade, that means to say once in 10 years, and it provides dependable data. The information which is of national use are collected, and before census is conducted, the questions are pre-tested just to avoid mistakes, and if the most necessary modifications are required, they are done. Willingness and ability of the respondent to give information is taken into consideration before proceeding with the work, and those questions which arouse fear and prejudice in the minds of the people and which the respondents find it difficult to answer are avoided. During census, effort is made to collect first-hand information about every person with personal contact. The basic unit of census is individual. A single person is considered only once in a census. Population census takes into account entire population of a country. The place or area where census has to take place is previously decided before conducting the census. It is the central government which conducts census, and census is undertaken in a specified time. The Commissioner of India's Population Census decides the date and time of the census. Before census data collection, it is essential that all concepts should be made very clear to avoid any mistakes. And the information collected from the census is secretly maintained. Then later, census data, after being verified and analyzed, they are published. Now to conclude, the characteristics of census is useful to get a deeper understanding of census, and it helps to know the process of conducting census. These are the references. You can go through these books, and you can also browse through the net for more information. Here are 5 multiple choice questions. If you have listened to the lecture carefully, you'll be able to answer them. So first question is, when was first census conducted in India? It was in 1872. Which was the census technique adopted in India up to 1931? What's the answer? It is de facto. In India, census is conducted once in how many years? 5, 7, 10 or 15 years? It is 10 years. The term census is derived from which word? Greek word, Spanish word, Roman word or Latin word? The answer is Latin word. Census conducted in India in the year 2011 was 14th, 15th, 12th or 13th census. What's the answer? The answer is 15th census. Thank you.